What's happening, family? 90% of life is about course correction, they say. That's what the good brother Dr. Be Serious talked about. And I thought about that. You know, I think about that daily. I think about that in my own life. I think about that in the life of others that, you know, I find myself overseeing and assisting and, you know, helping multiply. But 90% of life is about course correction. You know, you have a plan, start somewhere. Maybe it doesn't go the way you want to, and then you correct your course, because the goal is to let nothing stop you on your way. And one thing we talked about in today's high level was like, you know, there's rules to life. There's rules to this platform. There's rules to the streets. There's rules to wealth. But the rules, some people look at rules sometimes as a negative thing, and they're not meant to stop you, just to teach you how to win the game. You know what I mean? The rules are just to show you how life is supposed to be played. There's rules to this universe and this life that we live. And if you don't know how to, you know, master thyself, how to become an initiate in the process, you know, overly developing yourself for whatever's to come, then you're going to always need assistance. And assistance is fine, but dependence isn't. A man or woman that is overly dependent has not mastered the art of life. It makes you weak. Man, it really don't matter what you depended on. Whether it's a blunt, whether it's a person, whether it's a drug, whether it's socializing. And we talked about it today. Socializing, you know, I was listening to this book, and we talked about the difference between when a person socializes. Socialization is like assimilation. It is taking on the characteristics of the group that you are in to be in connection with those people. So we socialize. We become socialized. So you may fall off parts of yourself so that you can assimilate to the group that you are in, and that's what you do when we are in social environments. You don't want to disrupt the flow, so you become a part of it. And, you know, there's an art to socialization, for surely. But you don't want to do so much socializing that you no longer know who you are, because you have to constantly adapt and become like the people you're around. You have to have this dependency of a deepness in your own character, right? That allows you to be able to navigate life regardless of where you find yourself. It's okay to go through ups. It's okay to go through downs. It's okay to lose sometimes, you know, but to stay in that position and to find a way to be comfortable in that position. Because this is what I see. We find a way to be comfortable in lesser positions long enough for those things to crumble, and then dissatisfaction kicks in, and then we want to go into hyperdrive. But that hyperdrive only gets you back to a sense of normalcy. It doesn't propel you any further. It's like a person waiting till their bank account is in a negative to start figuring out ways to make extra money. All that's going to do is probably put you back into, you know, zero, and now you back at balance. But it doesn't allow you to accumulate abundance ever to where you don't get to that point again, because people don't know how to put themselves in hyperdrive when they up. This is why we talked about the spiritual currency, you know, and the spiritual currency and the language of spiritual currency and understanding the metaphysics of how that works. One of the greatest spells you can tell somebody. Some, it can be a gift, it can be a curse, but perspective is an angle that allows you to see different dimensions of things. When we talk about what's an angel for you, an angel is just a perspective. An angel whispers in your ear and give you a perspective on life to see things at a different viewpoint. So when you hear the words, you need to spend time by yourself. And we talked about in the conversation that when you're spending time, you're creating vortexes, you're creating energy, you're giving life, you're spinning something into existence. When we were just small little sperm swimming to the egg for that light came, that's what we was doing. We were spinning. Time doesn't begin for you until you start making moves. That's when you're spending time. Not spending, but spinning. And when you spend time by yourself, how do you buy yourself? Right? You have to buy yourself. Means that you have to put yourself on the auction to be your own slave. And when you are by yourself, you're spending that time with yourself alone. And loaning, you mean lending. And what you're doing is you're lending yourself more energy and more capability. Right? It's an investment. And so when you're done spending that time alone that you gave yourself, that you've lended to yourself in silence, right? Allowing you to develop deepness in your character, to enrich who you are, allowing yourself time to think, allowing yourself time to build in the isolation, right, of your own self. When you go back in a world, you have energy now to execute. You have energy, you have thoughts that you've spent enough time thinking. You spend those thoughts enough, and then something real comes out. Great people spend time alone is how you master self. You have to lend yourself that time. You have to buy yourself. You have to master yourself. But if you're too busy socializing, you don't even know who you are, because you have to be what's necessary around everyone else. So when you walk in the room, maybe nothing changes because you change with the room instead of change the room. I am a man who changes the room. The temperature changes. The air quality changes. The bass in the voice changes. The values change when I walk in the room.
What room you be walking?
Every single room on this planet Earth. No, I'm serious right now.
We on that follow and killing.
Nah, fuck that. I'm on something way higher than that. You can laugh, but it's somebody that really needs this shit. You know it as a fact and as a documented fact on this planet Earth. I can walk anywhere on this planet Earth. Anywhere on this planet, any room I walk into. That's why sometimes a person don't want me in the room, because they like, wait a minute, he go change everything. Yeah, because I ain't come here to socialize. Y'all got to socialize with me. That means that you got to change your conditions to meet over here. There's a time for work. There's a time for play. See, when you learn how to play correctly, things work correctly. But the problem is people spend so much time working that they play to distract themselves. But the goal and the solution was you have to make things work so that the play is a result of the work, not a distraction from the work. It's like you go and you make the money, and now you're spending the money, and now you get to play and enjoy, because it's a reward. It's a reward of the work, not a distraction, because you don't like the work that you do. Because things are not planning and panning out the way you want to. It's different dimensions over here.